What if you could build a business that gives you the life of freedom you deserve? What if you could find the secrets to marketing, leadership, customer service, and other aspects of business that help you exceed your goals? What if you could walk away from your business for 30 days and it never misses a beat? That's what this podcast is for, to help business leaders like you find freedom from the day-to-day grind and start spending your time doing the things you love. I'm Levi McClendon, and my co-host is Josh Taylor, and this is the Cheers to Freedom podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Cheers to Freedom podcast. I am your host, Josh Taylor, and I am with Levi McClendon. Levi, you look like you're in a much more fun place than I am.
Well, I am.
Where are you? Tell us what you are.
I am at the Moon Palace, the Grand, in Cancun, Mexico.
Wow. And why are you there? And why am I not there?
Well, Josh, thank you for asking. We are hosting the third annual 2024 Opspot Freedom Summit at this palace. I say it's a palace because it is a palace, the Moon Palace in Cancun, Mexico, this coming November. So that's why I'm here. I'm getting a preview of it. I'm getting a walkthrough, and I really wanted to come down here. Never been here before, and I wanted to see what we were really what to expect, and just make sure that this is exactly what we think it is that's going to host this year's Freedom Summit. And we just want to make sure that it was, set up right, and that we made the right choice. And I can tell you so far, Josh, we've made the right choice.
Yeah, so tell me what you think about it, because what you've shown me so far is pretty amazing. So tell us, the folks that are listening, tell us what you've seen so far.
Well, I will tell you this, the name does it justice. It is called the Moon Palace, the Grand. There's 3 different major resorts down here, and one of them is called the Grand. And so it literally is grand. I don't know if you can see behind there, Josh, but those ceilings are, 20, 30 feet. I can't tell. They're huge. The entrance, the bar that I'm at now is ridiculous. So everything that I have been to has just been really over the top. And that's not the only reason that we're obviously hosting the event here, but just when you walk in and walk around, it's very nice. You feel like you're literally in a palace. And so, yeah, so far, Josh, I've been very impressed. I like what I've seen. I get to do a tour today. I'm going to go look at the conference room and where we'll be presenting. And then I'll even see the rooms that our clients will be staying in. So I'm going to be doing some video throughout the day. I've already done some video, and I'll be doing some video throughout the day to just kind of show some of the different areas that we'll be able to hang out in and kind of what's going to be taking place down here.
Awesome. So if you're attending the Freedom Summit in November, definitely check out our Instagram page to see some of the videos that Levi is going to be posting, so you can check out the resort and get even that much more excited about it. And honestly, today, it really worked out great that you're there for our recording today, because we're not going to be talking necessarily about the Freedom Summit, but really why people should be a part of events like the Freedom Summit, or just building community of peers to help them achieve success. You sent out a video to our Opspot customers a few days ago that kind of talked about this idea. And so I wanted to hash that out a little bit, because I truly believe, and I know you believe this too, based on the video that you sent, that success doesn't happen in isolation. Like, you've got to surround yourself. I mean, we've heard it before, show me the 5 people that you spend most of your time with, and I'll show you your future. And that really is true even in business. Who you're surrounding yourself with and who you're putting around you, not just the people that you work with, but the people that are outside of your business that can speak into your business and help you improve. Those people, you show me those people, and I'll show you the success that you're going to have in your business. So that's what I want to talk about today, is why that's important. Maybe some of your experience of what you've learned through that. I'll share some of my experience and what I've learned. But why is it important for those that are listening to surround themselves with peers that are going to push them to success?
Yeah, Josh, it's a great topic to bring up. And there's probably some of you that are listening now that are about to shut off the podcast because you don't want to hear about Cancun and this amazing place and hanging out and partying and all inclusive. And And I get it, but just to let you know, that's not what this is about. Yes, we want to have it at a nice place. We thought we'd do an all inclusive, have it one fee for, your room, the drinks, the food, everything is included, which is amazing. But ultimately, if you have not been in the car wash space for very long, right? Or if you don't understand that in this space, that the people that are willing to get involved, the people that are willing to share ideas, is the numbers in this space, Josh. It surprised me. It surprised me that so many people are willing to share, and they're willing to share amazing ideas and what is successful and what has not been successful for them. And I think if you're trying to do it on your own, I hear a lot of my clients as I'm talking, they want us to always give the ideas. Well, what should we do here? What should we do there? And sometimes it's even operationally, right? Like, what should we do? Even hiring staff. And we love to give advice, but there's nobody that knows better than your peers that are in the space itself.
Right.
And I would say, Josh, the feedback we've received the last couple of years from the Freedom Summits that we have done isn't, yes, we got to take some credit for some of the marketing material and some things we're bringing to the space, but a lot of it's just creating an atmosphere that other owners can come in and entrepreneurs can come in and have open conversations, being very transparent with each other and finding out, hey, what has worked for you? What has not worked for you? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? All we can do is come in and give our recommendation. So if you're listening right now and you haven't done this, if you haven't participated in it, and to me, it's different than the, big car wash show, the ICS show we just went to. It's different than some of these other shows that you're going to and seeing a bunch of vendors and trying to, make those connections. But man, when it's peer to peer and you're all here for the same reason, I'm telling you, the feedback, again, the number one thing that our customers have liked is having that interaction, Josh, so that they've really built those relationships and they've learned a lot going into different, not just marketing, operations and obviously how to, run their wash and are they doing promotions and sales and is it working for them and is it worth it? Things like that. So,
Right.
So I just encourage those people who haven't tried that, like whether it's, down here at the Freedom Summit or somewhere else, you really need to get out and not try to do it completely on your own.
Yeah. Well, great operators hang out with other great operators. And that's true just in business in general. Great, successful business people hang out with other successful business people. And, I wrote a couple of notes down of what generates greatness in people. And I heard this from Donald Miller, who, we're fans of. And he said, what generates greatness in people are three things. One, an obsession with what works, an ability to distill what works into a repeatable process, and then being a part of a community that helps them develop and execute on what works. And the reality is most business owners and entrepreneurs have the first two down. Like that's just built into our DNA. Where we struggle is that third one, building that community around us of people who are going to push us to execute on those things that work, because it's easy for us to isolate ourselves because we get busy, we're focused on our businesses, we often think that we can just do it ourselves, and we don't think about that community of people that have been successful in the areas maybe where we're struggling, to reach out to them for whatever reason. And there's a story of Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, and obviously two of some of the greatest coaches in football. They would get together annually, just the two of them, to talk about the season, to talk about what worked, what didn't work, some of the new things that they're going to be working on. Obviously, they're not competing against each other because one's in college and one's in professional. And a lot of times there were documentary crews that were there to kind of document that annual meeting that they would have. But always at the beginning of that meeting, when they would get together, they would ask the documentary crews to leave so that they could just have a personal, no risk conversation with one another. Well, one of the years that they did that, everybody left the room, but someone accidentally left their camera rolling, and it recorded the first part of that meeting that they didn't want recorded. And what they said happened was not like they got together and just started asking about each other's wives and their kids and their families and all that stuff. They really got together, and it was straight to business. And it was, hey, what worked for you this year? And where did you fail? What would you do differently this year? how, where did you find the most success? And they really, just kind of gave each other their trade secrets of success right there in that meeting. And that was an annual thing that they did. And they would say that a big part of their success is because of that meetup every single year that they would have, or they could have those conversations with one another. And that's, to me, that is extremely important for any type of business owner that's going to find success, is to be able to have those conversations with people that are in the trenches just like you are, doing the same things that you are, after the same things that you are. And you can challenge one another. You can talk about what's really working and what's not working. And you can have those conversations that it's really all about just pushing one another. So I just thought that was a powerful story,
Yeah.
and really probably something that a lot of our listeners could resonate with, because they probably feel that as well, and would love to have those kind of conversations.
Well, Josh, I know for me personally, having other people in the same position that I am to be able to talk about challenges, talk about life, it's hard to find those groups, right? And so I personally, and I'll just be transparent here, I buy into it's called Strategic Coach. I pay $10,000 a year. I go to I fly to LA 4 different times a year on my dime. I pay for the hotel, pay for food, pay for everything, for a 1-day get together with people, entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. So I'm probably spending, I don't know, 15 grand a year simply to surround myself with other successful people to help me be more successful.
Yeah.
And it's worth every dime. It's worth every dime. And that's, again, I feel like that's what others are, when again, as I'm thinking back to some of the conversations that I've had with people, when they talk about they don't want to spend that money, or it's not the right time, or whatever. Man, if you don't put in that time and effort and spend that money now, I'll tell you, it's done wonders for our company. That 10, 15 grand a year, the return that we get on that, the little nuggets, the connections, the people that I've met, the things we've been able to implement as a company far outweighs the $15,000 a year that I'm going to spend on surrounding myself with people that are going to make me better. And that's really what this is about. So, again, if you're doing coaching, awesome. If you're not, I would even encourage that. Again, as the leader, as the entrepreneur, you're really at the top. And in order for you to excel, you need to, again, find other successful people in your industry and even outside your industry. But you've got to have those connections. And those are the ones that are going to help you take it to that next level.
Well, funny story, because we've kind of learned this over the last couple of summits that we've done. The first summit, we kind of came in and we said, it was all about us kind of giving our ideas. And so there was a lot of time on the stage. There was a lot of time in the conference room. And, we had the golf tournament the day before. The next year, I think, you and I kind of had an awakening, especially during the golf tournament, because we were paired together in a group of 4. And you were going to ride with one of the Opspot customers. It was Richard. And then I was going to ride with Mike, who was the other Opspot customer. And Mike and Richard, we were like, man, they're going to love hanging out with us. They're going to have a good time, and they're going to want to hear some of our ideas. And you and I, by the second or third hole, ended up in a cart together, because Mike and Richard had hit it off so well. And we're just sharing ideas and talking about, employees and how they handle this situation. And we're like, well, you and I kind of felt like the third wheel on the golf date. And these guys had never met before, but they just hit it off so quickly. And honestly, they spent the rest of the next several days kind of sitting next to each other and just kind of talking more. And that relationship developed. It was after, and so we spent some more time intentionally having time for them to have conversations with one another as around their tables and stuff like that. And so I think this year, we're going to do even more of that.
Well, we ended up changing our setup, Josh, because of the feedback we got, like you said. So the way that we set up the tables was more interactive, and we had more time to break out. So yes, we are going to bring content. We're going to share ideas, but then we're going to give our clients a chance to talk to one another, and then obviously share with, again, the successes as well as the failures, but doing it together so they learn from each other. And we just really want to facilitate that. And that's what I think was so successful in our last summit. And so we want to, again, even go further this year. And Josh, this year is a little bit longer. We get 2 full days down here. So we have 2 full days to really have more breakout sessions and more time to really dig deeper into the real problems that some of the car wash owners are having.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reality is there are a few experiences that are more powerful than getting together with a group of peers, with focusing on helping one another get better and get better at what we do. And so whether it's the Freedom Summit or just having intentional time, maybe a lot of people have a hard time doing this within their communities because a lot of them are in the same market competing against one another. And that there's some of that at the Freedom Summit, but we limit the amount of people that actually show up at the Freedom Summit. So a lot of times there's not a lot of people in the same market, but even those that are, they're still working together because honestly, the mindset of the people that show up to a Freedom Summit is an abundance mindset. They realize there's enough business to go around. So they're not really competing against one another as much as they are helping one another succeed
Yep.
and thrive.
Right. Which is
And that's
awesome.
really what happens. You know, success doesn't come in isolation, and you don't get to the top by yourself. I had a pastor that always used to tell the story, and you've probably heard it. If you see a turtle on top of a post, he didn't get there on his own, and somebody put him there. And that's the reality with success. Like, you don't get to the top on your own.
Yeah.
We like to feel like, yeah, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and I was
Yeah.
able to do this and I'm a self-made man. But the reality is there have been people around you that helped you get you there. And that's
Well,
the importance of the
speaking of
community.
that, Josh, speaking of that real quick, some of those people, a lot of times it's your spouse. And
Yeah.
so I want to reiterate, I would say 80% of the people who signed up right now are bringing their spouses, and we want this event to be spouse friendly, right? That's why it's all inclusive. It doesn't matter if you have a room on your own or with your spouse, there's no extra fee, which is amazing.
Yeah.
We want you to bring your spouse down here because they are a lot of times the one that has helped you get to where you're at today. So if you can bring them here, enjoy some nice time. You're going to see a video, whether you've checked it out already or not. But my wife actually is going to the spa today. It's an unbelievable spa. So I asked her if she would do some video. So she will be doing some video as she goes to the spa, probably while we're doing this podcast. But the spa here is phenomenal. The gym is phenomenal. Everything down here, the pools, there's just a ton of pools. But we want you to be able to bring your spouse down here, and there will be time for your spouse to be able to participate down here a little bit, but also just to be able to come and enjoy a vacation. Because a lot of times, and even when I go to LA, I take Jenny with me. And even while I'm at my event, she's hanging out, getting her own time because we need that time away. If you have kids, as you know, it's nice to get away from the kids and rejuvenate. And so we'll do that and then go to a nice dinner or, obviously have breakfast in the morning. And so it's really nice. And I like that aspect of it. And I really wanted to bring that this year to the summit and really encourage the spouses to also make the trip down here because I think you're going to like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, some practical takeaways from this is obviously if you're an Opspot customer, we highly encourage you to attend the Freedom Summit. If you haven't signed up yet, there's limited spots, so don't wait to sign up, but there's still room available. Sign up. Bring your spouse if you can, if you're married. They don't have to attend the sessions with you. There's plenty of things for them to do, but they get to be involved in everything outside of the sessions, like the dinners,
Right.
because we want to meet them. We're bringing our spouses for that very
Reception,
reason.
golf.
Yeah. And so that, they can participate as much as they want. But if you're not an Opspot customer, then, find a way to build a community of peers. Find a way to be a part of something that is going to challenge you and push you. And, it doesn't have to be in the car wash industry. I do think it helps that it is because there are people, just like at the Freedom Summit, there's some extensive problem solving that happens at the Freedom Summit through those conversations because there are people that have solved the problem that you're dealing with right now. And they have a great solution that they can help you with because they've been there.
Yeah.
But, surround yourself with a community of like-minded peers that are after the same things that you're after, that have the same goals that you have, and will challenge you to execute on what works. So that's my practical takeaway for folks. Feel free to add anything, obviously, that you've experienced with building a community around you.
Well, absolutely, Josh. I think we can wrap it up. Ultimately, you don't get to the top by yourself, like you said. And in order to push yourself, there has to be some accountability as well. And I
Yeah.
think when there's some friendly competition and when you're putting yourself out there and being vulnerable, and also giving, right? And I know this is a biblical, but given it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken, and overflowing. I know that's technically to the church, to God, but I look at that as things that we give to each other. Like give, show, display, share with people. It'll be given back to you, pressed down, shaken, and overflowing. I truly believe that. So, and I see that a lot in this space, and I think that's why there's a lot of success in this space. That's my challenge to you, is to not just come see what you can receive, but also what can you give back.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really what we want. The mindset of people that show up is, what am I going to be able to contribute to this community? Because if
Absolutely.
everybody shows up with that mindset, they're going to be getting as much as they're giving, because everyone is there to give and to contribute and add value. And I truly believe that and I've said it so many times, you don't get penalized as a business for being generous.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we've lived that, we've experienced that. And so we're excited about the
Yes,
Freedom
sir.
Summit that's coming up in November. Obviously, the place is beautiful. Can't wait to see more videos and pictures of that's outside of their website, because obviously they put the best on the website. So
Yeah,
I like to
that's
see
awesome.
Levi's pictures, and if Levi can make them look good, that means it's really good. So I
That's really good.
I'm excited to see that. And if you're not signed up for the Freedom Summit yet, if you're an Opspot customer, make sure you sign up at opspotfreedomsummit.com. And August 26th, I think, is the cutoff to be able to sign up for that. So make sure that you get that going. Sign up for the. I always tell people, even if you're not a good golfer, participate in the golf tournament, simply because of the networking and the connections that you're going to have. It's a ton of fun. Not, most of our team is playing, and most of our team are not great golfers. They just got to have fun and to hang out with one another. So that's a great opportunity there. And if you're not attending the Freedom Summit, or you're not an Opspot customer, find a way to surround yourself with a community that's going to challenge you. And that makes all the difference. Learn from Bill Belichick and Nick Saban of their success. Their success happened because they surrounded themselves with people that were pushing them to success. And they were not the people that were surrounding by them every day. It was people that they can meet up with intentionally to focus on how can we learn from one another and what worked and what didn't work. So that's what we're trying to create here at the Freedom Summit, and other aspects of our business. And that's what we hope you can do as well.
All right. Well, make sure to text cheers to 411-365. So text cheers to 411-365. You want to make sure to join that list. You're the first to know when we're dropping new videos and podcasts. And make sure to subscribe and share our podcast if it's helping you out. We appreciate it.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram if you want to see some videos of the Moon Grand Palace, or the Grand Moon. I can't remember how to say it. It's
Moon Palace the Grand.
A Moon
Moon
Palace
Palace
the
the
Grand in Cancun, Mexico. So if you want to see what the resort looks
sweet.
like and see some of Levi's amateur videos of it, to see what it really looks like, then check it out on Instagram. Are you going to give us
I
a
was
tour?
going to show you something. I was going to. You got to check some of this out, but we'll do it later. I'll show some video. We'll put it on Instagram.
Awesome. Follow us on Instagram and see those. And hey, until next time.
Cheers.
Cheers.